Hey, Chris, hope you're well. Hey, listeners, we have got Coach Carroll on today. Coach Carroll already has a podcast himself, which is called The Sales Factory. If you haven't heard it, where have you been hiding? You need to check it out. But Coach Carroll, thanks for joining us from Louisville, Kentucky today.
Yeah, man. Louisville, Kentucky. That's right. I wore my shoes so you can tell I was from Kentucky.
I'm not sure I get that joke, but I laughed anyway just for comedic effect.
We're all a bunch of hillbillies here in Kentucky. So we
Ah, okay, okay.
run around, date our cousins, and don't wear any shoes, right?
There's a few towns like that in England, but we won't mention them because our listeners might be there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they probably
Thanks,
are there
thanks
too.
for having me on, fellas.
No, look, we appreciate your time and we're really looking forward to having a conversation with you. Before we do, best place for someone to check you out if they want to find out some more. Do you want to share a website, social security number, postal address, any info you want to share?
Yeah, you guys can find me coachcarroll.com, two R's, two L's. It's got, all my free resources, all the links to my social media accounts, and then obviously the new book, The Hunter Head Game, that just came out in October. So yeah, man, coachcarroll.com is the single source of truth for all things Coach Carroll.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Look, the first question we ask everyone on the podcast is exactly the same. Well, we asked the same four questions actually, so it should be pretty easy. But first question we ask is, tell us about the first ever sale that you made, and first time you got some commission. What did you spend it on?
Oh, okay. Man, taking me all the way back because I started my first business my senior year of high school, and I was mowing grass and started knocking doors. And I don't know that it was my very first one, but like probably my first memorable one because I picked up a yard or two before. But there was a Dodge dealership in town, and I had my '89 F-150. It was the ugliest truck in Kentucky. It was beat all to hell. I had a Walmart weed eater and a Walmart push mower, and I go up to this Dodge dealership, and I walk in, and I'm like, hey, I'm 18 years old. I'm like, hey, is the manager here? They're like, yeah, can we help you? I was like, I just want to talk to him. Okay. It's like, damn, that was way too easy, right? So they take me back to the manager's office, and I'm like, hey, man, I wanted to give you a quote for your mowing your grass out here. And he was like, okay, what kind of equipment do you got? I point through the glass window, and I'm like, the mower that's in the back of my pickup? He was like, that's a push mower. I was like, yeah. He said, dude, we got like a half an acre out there. I was like, okay. He was like, dude, if you're willing to push mow that, I'll give you the business. And he's like, because I don't think you're going to show up for very many weeks in a row. And I was like, okay, dude, sold them. And I don't. That was geez, op. That was 15 years ago. I don't remember what I charged them back then. It was probably way too little. But I did it, and I specifically remember push mowing on the side of the hill by the road, and like my friends driving by and like honking, and then making fun of me when I was back at school. They're like, "Dude, we saw you out there mowing the Dodge dealership," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I made in 1 hour what you guys have to work a 4 or 5 hour shift to make, right?" And that was like the first taste of like real entrepreneurship, like selling to a business. And man, after that, all bets were off. I decided to turn down 8 football scholarships and forgo a career path of being a chemical engineer, and mowed grass, grew that to about 3 million in revenue, and sold it. And an entrepreneur was born, as they say. What did I spend my first? I mean, probably just pouring it all back into the company. I still do that to this day. People are like blown away when I tell them like how little money I actually take out of the business. But when you're trying to be in growth mode, I think that's a big trick, man. Is if you can start young, start early, and pour it back into the company for as long as you possibly can, the net compounding effect of that is massive. But over the years, I've had airplanes and motorcycles and boats, and I've definitely spent my fair share of quote unquote commissions.
I love that. I love that story. Can I ask you a question? You know, you cold called this place, and obviously you mentioned that you were young and stuff like that. Do you think your motivation for doing that was because you were young and you weren't used to rejection and you just went for it, or were you driven towards trying to get some business? Because the reason I asked the question is lots of people who started a business or are in business will be really worried about cold calling and knocking on the door and asking the question. And I just wondered what your take on that was.
Yeah, my motivation, Leon, was I was fucking broke. That was all the motivation that I needed, man. My dad never made more than $20 an hour. My mom stayed home and raised me and my brother. They divorced when I was 15, so I had to split home. money was not abundant by any stretch of the imagination. And so I was, delivering pizzas on Thursdays and Fridays. I was working at a gas station in the mornings, like sweeping a parking lot, stocking coolers, and wiping down gas pumps. I was bussing tables at a restaurant throughout the week. And so, like I've always just been a hustler. My dad and I, when we were younger, we used to like buy mopeds and go-karts that like weren't running. We'd like clean out the carburetors, hit them with a rattle can, and then sell them in the spring yard sale. So like a hustler is like who I am through and through. It's all I've ever known. What was really cool was like seeing like, hey man, if you go do this out on your own, like you can make, 10x what you're making like cleaning these gas pumps at 5:30 in the morning before you go to school, right? It's funny, man, because it's like I used to get picked on so much because like the kids are stopping to like grab an energy drink or a breakfast sandwich at the gas station before they go to school in the mornings, and I'm out there wiping down the gas pumps before I'm going to school, right? And they're like, "Oh, look, DJ, sweep the parking lot, ha ha ha!" It's like the ha 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 moment is like, yes, I had the work ethic that most of the people didn't, and I think that that's so true in life right now. If you're in sales, if you will just show up and have a positive mental attitude, you'll beat 90% of the fucking market. It really is that easy. People have gotten extremely lazy and entitled. And so that's part of the reason why I wrote the book, The 100 Head Game. But like, yeah, I mean, for me, my motivation point blank was like, I was broke and I needed to make some money. And by the time I graduated high school, man, I was making like four grand a month co-oping for my own business. And so I was pretty much hooked at that point.
There's so many questions I want to dig into this, but we haven't got the time for this, so I'm going to try and break it down. A massive amount of research shows that money mindset comes from childhood. Like you view how your family unit thinks of money, approaches money, deals with money. Some people are afraid of money. And obviously you said, you had this upbringing where money wasn't plentiful, but it doesn't mean your family didn't have a good money mindset. You don't need to have money to have a good money mindset. Do you think some of this, or would you put some of this hustle, this desire for money down to those childhood experiences and maybe a mindset that you got from your family, or are you unique in your family with this?
No, I know the exact point in time that the childhood trauma is all that everybody wants to talk about, right? It's like my friends, it was WrestleMania, right? It's probably like 1998, 99. I'm in like 5th grade maybe, and my buddies down the street are getting WrestleMania. I'm like, hey, can I stay down here and watch it? My mom's like, no, you need to come home. I come home, I'm like, Dad, can we get WrestleMania? Back then, pay-per-view was like $25, right? It's like it wasn't anything crazy. I was like, can we get WrestleMania? He's like, no, buddy, we can't afford that. And I remember looking at my dad and saying, I hate being poor. And my dad said, oh, you think we're poor? Let me show you what poor actually is. And so I got grounded for the next 2 weeks. No television, no computer, no video games, no bicycle. We're so poor, I didn't have a basketball. And actually, we're so poor, you don't even get your snack when you get off the bus in the afternoon. And my dad taught me a very, very valuable lesson that being entitled will get you nowhere. But also being broke really fucking sucks. And so that instilled that in me. And, I have to give my dad credit. Like, he has 11 brothers and sisters. They had an outhouse, when he was younger. CPS came in and took all the kids away when he was like 5 or 6, I think, from his mom because his dad had passed away and she wasn't taking care of the kids. Like, he had a really, really rough upbringing. So like his perspective of like, you think we're fucking poor because I won't buy you WrestleMania pay-per-view? Let me teach you a lesson. And I will forever be grateful that my dad taught me that lesson because I think that instilled a lot of like the source code that's inside of me that creates this grind and hustle mentality.
What a beautiful story about that. Can I just really quickly double check as a wrestling fan
Yeah.
of 47 years?
Okay.
Was it the one where Mike Tyson was the enforcer when Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold fought in the finale?
Oh shit, dude! I don't remember.
Oh, come
That
on. I
was
thought
so
you were a
long
wrestling
ago.
fan.
I'll tell you what. I wasn't. It was my brother was a wrestling fan, dude. He had the
Fair
ring.
play.
He had the Owen Hart action figure. Like, I mean, he would sit there and play for hours. He's 5 years younger than me. He's one of my business partners, and it was one of those things where, like, again, to your point, Leon, my dad made the right move because, like, if I was a diehard fan, he probably would have found the $25.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really that big of a deal, and it was a teaching moment that I think he excelled at as a parent. Well, my dad probably would have never told me to hire a business coach. He never taught me how to trade stock market options or financially plan. But man, some of those really good fundamental lessons, he aced the test on those.
Love it. Love it. I'm going to start doing some Googling as soon as we finished about some earlier wrestling. I haven't watched it for a long time. Chris, sorry, did you want to come in?
Well, I said I had a load of questions. I've got one more on this, moving forward with it, because money mindset and entrepreneurship fascinates me. And, it's some terrible stat like 95% of businesses don't make it past 12 months.
Yeah.
Hungry people work. Yeah. So it's a lot easier to be motivated to give it a go and get out there and hustle when you haven't got a pot to piss in. Yeah. And what's also shown is humans have got this terrible knack of working really hard until they're comfortable. And the second they're comfortable, all that motivation kind of dwindles away. And we love this kind of easy C. It's not many times business owner entrepreneurs get to go, right, I've got to comfy, now what's next? And they keep pushing past that comfy into the millions, into the tens of millions. What mindset does it take? And there could be business owners listening to this thinking, New Year, New Year's resolutions and that shit. I've got my comfy shoes on, haven't I? What am I doing? What are you saying to yourself every time you get comfy that makes you push on?
You better keep your head on a swivel. My football coach in high school, he said, DJ, if the ball is snapped and you're standing around saying, I got nobody to block, I got nobody to go after, you better put your head on a fucking swivel, because that means that the tackle is probably pulling and coming to clear you out of the hole, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to make the sack. And then like this 280-pound dude's about to pancake your ass. I think the same thing happens in business. I also think, I love hunting. It's one of those things where like, if you watch a deer in the woods, just chilling, no problem, a tree limb snaps, dude. He's like, what's that? Right. I think we've lost some of that. And it's because the saber-toothed tiger doesn't come into the village and like carry away a child anymore in the middle of the night. Right. For the most part, we live a pretty good life, man. Like if you look like, especially here in America, like when's the last time like a child died of starvation in America? Right. Like, sure, there's gobs of people that can find plenty of shit to bitch and moan about on Twitter or X, right? Like, I'm not saying there's any shortage of stuff to complain about, but I'm saying like fundamental, like hierarchy of needs type of shit, like we're pretty set, man. Like people don't go hungry. You probably got somewhere to live and you probably got some food in your belly and a shirt on your back. I think what's happened is the drive isn't there like it used to be because the dependency on survival isn't near as tilted as it used to be, right? And so after hundreds of years of that or decades of that, we've become soft. I mean, let's face it, people pay $8 to have a $5 cheeseburger delivered to them, right? Our food's at a push of a button now for Uber Eats. That's why I wrote the book, The Hunter Head Game, because I've been working on that thing for 10 years. I think we've just gotten soft, and it's a wake-up call, man, because I think the old world rewarded obedience. Get the job, spend 30 years there, pay into the pension, like be obedient, and you're good. With AI and where everything is going right now, this new world we're going into, you're going to have killer instincts again. I just truly believe that. And I also think you have to go back to like what makes you happy and what's your why. If your goal is to take home a couple $100,000 a year, never miss a dance recital, never miss a ball practice, take a couple of vacations a year with your family and be happy, like, dude, fucking kudos to you. You don't need to go build a $10 million a year business to do that. And I don't think in entrepreneurship, I've been very, very avid about getting this message out. I don't think in entrepreneurship, we give those guys enough flowers. Because when you see VC backed this and PE firm that, it's all about you got to go make a gazillion, $100 bazillion. And it's like, or just fucking be happy, man, and index for that. And I don't think entrepreneurs index for happiness enough. That's why I think they get in this like conundrum of like, just don't just drive to be driving, man. Like have a destination of where you're going, know why you're playing the game, and know when enough is enough. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer to a short question.
Hey, no, look, please Please keep preaching. We love all that. I want to ask one more question about this early business stuff before we move on to what you're doing right now. And that was,
Yeah.
you mentioned this push mower.
Yeah.
I felt the pain because I've got a push mower for my allotments, and I was using it over the last few weeks while I was off at Christmas. So I know how much I would like a ride-on mower to be able to do it myself. At what point did you upgrade?
So I was probably 3 or 4 months into like my first season, and there was this old guy down on 7th Street. I don't even remember his name, but he would like buy old lawnmowers and fix them up. And he had this old blue like Dixon ride-on lawnmower. And I mean, this thing had to be like from the fucking 70s. Like it was probably the first ride-on lawnmower ever invented. And I bought it for like, I don't know, $150, man. And boy, I thought I was big shit then. And then the next upgrade was like a gas powered blower, because up to this point I didn't have a blower, so I was using a push broom or a sweeper like to just like get the clippings off the driveways and sidewalks. Like when I say I was hustling, man, I was hustling. It was I was very fortunate. My mom lent me $100, my grandma lent me $100, and I had $100 saved up from the jobs I was working. That's how I got the business off the ground. So if you're listening to this and you think you've got all these excuses why you shouldn't start or why you can't start or what's holding you back, nobody fucking cares, man. Find a reason to do it, not a reason to not do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If you'll indulge me, I just want to dig into that a little bit more. And I did say we'd move on, but I want to. Often when I speak to people who are business owners and stuff, and they'll be like, "I need the app." I mean, maybe not recently because AI can build you an app in about 15 minutes these days. But they'll be talking about, "I need this," or "What's the best CRM?" because I wanted to do all this stuff. And I'll always say, like, just use a pen and paper for now, and just start with this stuff. How often do you speak to people and they want the perfect thing really on, and you're trying to talk to them about, going with the minimal viable product as opposed to the finished article?
Yeah, it's the sales guy that wants to do an hour of preparation for a cold call that's going to last 13 seconds and nobody's going to answer, right? It is the probably the best lesson that my very first business coach ever taught me, is that perfection never arrives. So stop looking for it and start taking action, right? For me, I think honestly, I'm gonna probably hurt some feelings here, but the excuses that you're giving to the world of why you're not starting is just that. You're lazy, and so it's easier for you to find excuses not to start than to actually go put the fucking work in. It's not easy to make 18 to 20 dials an hour with two significant conversations for 6.5, 7, 8, 9 hours in a row and just get punched in the fucking face. That's not easy. And it's way easier to be like, I'm on call number 11. No one's answered except for these two assholes, and they told me to like go fly a kite. It's like, this doesn't work. It's like, no, you don't work, right? Call me back when you've made 1,000 calls. I literally had a 19-year-old kid DM me a couple weeks ago. He's like, hey, man, I want to like sell this AI product I got, blah, blah, blah. I was like, cool, call some businesses in your hometown, try to set up a meeting and see if you can go in and pitch them. He messaged me back and he's like, hey, man, I've called like 18 people, but like nobody's really interested. I don't think this works. I'm like, do not message me again until you get to 250 dials. I haven't heard from him. Right. So it's like people just give up, man. And it's like, it's this age old thing that you severely underestimate what you can accomplish in a decade, and you severely overestimate what you can get done in a year. And people, especially in sales, you think if I could just pick up and make 10 phone calls and make $1 million, like everybody would be in sales. It's not how it works, man. It's a grind, it's a hustle, but the ones that will weather the pain, fight through the war, and improve their skills so that they get better over time. Dude, I've seen sales guys make, millions of dollars a year, and they don't own the company. They're just the sales guys, right? So it's like there's a lot of money to be made in that. It's just most of the time as humans, man, it's easier just to bitch and moan and complain why it won't work.
It is so easy to do that. This, I promise you, is the last dig in before we move on to the questions.
Leon, you're totally fine. Most of the time when I get on podcasts, people are like, well, I didn't ask any of the questions I had on my paper. We just went, but that's just my vibe, man. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. If you're listening to it, hey, if you guys haven't subscribed to the Sales Dojo, you need to go do that right now. Make sure you guys get all their new episodes.
Good man. Good man. It was just a real question. You mentioned about a young lad had spoken to you, and you also mentioned before about being able to order a burger for $5 and get it delivered for $8 really quickly when you sat on your couch. I'm worried, I'm apprehensive that we are building a bit of a situation where young people who've never, ever, ever had to really do anything because we're at that age where people are trying to give the kids everything they never had and stuff like that. Are we at risk of phasing out completely salespeople and entrepreneurs at some point in the future?
No. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like, yes, we are seeing the net effect of 8th place participation trophies. Okay, like this is what everybody gets when all of us millennials got participation trophies when we came in 13th place in the local like YMCA basketball league, and there were only 13 fucking teams to begin with, right? Like, no, I should have been told, hey, guess what? You guys sucked the most out of the league. You came in last place, and so you get nothing, and that's how life works, right? I would have been net positive with that feedback, right? But we're seeing now that there are first order, second order, and third order consequences. First order consequences are all the mommies and daddies feel real warm and fuzzy because all the little Billies on the team got their fucking trophy, and so now we'll go celebrate the good season, right? Second order consequences, like you're fucking up how you're parenting, and so now the hard advice doesn't get delivered. Third order consequences, now your kid's 27, he lives in your fucking basement, he won't move out. And that's where we're at. But here's the good news. If you're not lazy, if you're willing to work, you got less competition than any generation before you, okay? And you have the power at your fingertips to really make some stuff happen, okay? I want to give your audience this framework real quick that I talk about in the book. It's called the Access Attention AI Framework. And so there have been 3 technological waves that have hit entrepreneurs or salespeople, small business owners. The first one was access. That was the internet, okay? That democratized information. If my dad wanted to start a business in 1970, he had to go to the fucking library and read a book, right? Or find a mentor and study under him. Now you had Google, Ask Jeeves, like you could find information. Information was no longer the bottleneck, and it wasn't gate kept anymore. You could just get online. You needed internet access. And now with Starlink, like, dude, we're hiring people in Africa, and like they speak great English and have better writing skills than like somebody here in Kentucky. It's crazy, right? The second one was attention, and attention was the social media phenomenon that we saw happen. And for the first time ever, salespeople and small business owners could talk directly to their customer. I didn't need the guy at the newspaper. I didn't need the guy at the radio station. I didn't need the guy at the television station. I could get on my mobile device, this thing right here, that Apple will give you for $30 a month, and now you can talk to potential customers, right? Crazy. The third wave, which is what we're in right now, is artificial intelligence. And this is unlike anything we've seen. I've seen people say, this is bigger than the internet. No. I would put this up here with the Industrial Revolution because we couldn't create big structures of steel until we had the cranes that could move that heavy steel, right? What AI is doing that we haven't had with just regular software. Software could automate workflows. AI is going to be able to automate labor. Okay. And so where this is going to see this massive net effect is that if you are a guy that's trying to get started right now, you have all the information at your fingertips, you have distribution to a customer base through social media, and now you have AI that if you get stuck for whatever reason, just fucking ask it and it will get you moving again. It is the most powerful, technologically advanced, amazing time in the world to be alive. And if you want to go make something of yourself, all of the roadblocks have been removed.
It's
Sorry,
so
off
true.
my soapbox.
Yeah, listen, keep jumping on and off that soapbox all the way through our chat, Coach. It's cool. Second question we were going to ask, and we want to ask, is about what you're doing right now. So can you tell us maybe what it is that you're doing to help people? Who it is that you help? Give us an example maybe of someone you've helped recently.
Yeah, man.
And talk about the books as well. Talk about the books as well if you can.
Yeah. So, I told you guys I sold that lawn care company for after we grew it to about $3 million in revenue. I transitioned into power washing and window cleaning because it was a lot better margins, and I still own that business this day. We've got a great team in place. We do some of the biggest cleaning projects across the Midwest and Southeast U.S. I also love that business, Leon, because it keeps me close to the fire. Keeps my hands in the dirt, man. It keeps me sharp, right? And if I come up with ideas in Carroll Media, which is my media and technology company, if I come up with ideas, I take it to Easy Pro, that power washing business first. It's like my lab rat, right? And I inject it in there and I'm like, oh shit, it killed it. Probably shouldn't take that to market. Or I inject it into there and I'm like, holy smokes, this is big. Like, let's take this to market. Okay. Prime example, Allie, which is our AI platform. We rolled out her voice capabilities, her receptionist capabilities in March of this year. I installed that into Easy Pro. Dude, we haven't missed a phone call all year. That is massive for a small business. Okay. Like, making sure that you're not missing phone calls. Like, most people are like, I need more leads. It's like, no, you just need to take care of the leads that are already coming to you, right? That is massive. And so we were able to look at that, tune it up, fix some of the problems. Then we took that to market middle of the year. Right now, I'm leading Carroll Media, which is again, like I said, my media and technology company. Our main platform is Allie, and she's a lead detective, so she can detect leads on your website, your phone system, and your social media. And most recently, notably, we just partnered with Dan Martell, and so he is a new partner in the venture with us. So we're super pumped about that. And then, yeah, man. Most recently is the book. It came out in October, The Hunter Head Game. And, I truly want to create more entrepreneurs. Like, that's my life's work, because I think entrepreneurs solve all problems. The government has never showed up and like solved a problem for me, ever, ever. Right. I think there's still a lot of people that are still waiting for that to happen for them. But I wouldn't hold your breath. And so I think that the more entrepreneurs we have in the world, the better off we are. Again, I consider salespeople entrepreneurs. And so, that's my mission, man, is to go out here and weaponize the next generation of business leaders and their teams, put more entrepreneurship out in the ecosystem, and hopefully have a net effect on the world that I'll never really be able to wrap my arms around. That's, to me, would be like a life of success.
I love that your success is counting on other people's success. I'm very similar thoughts myself in terms of what I do, and I get so much more from someone else doing well than I ever did from earning decent money myself. It's something that's it's an absolute joy. Can I just ask a quick question? So, on your
Open book, man.
obviously coach, Carol, do you coach entrepreneurs? Is that kind of stuff that you do?
Yeah,
You
I've been
working with?
doing yeah, I've been doing one-to-one coaching since I was like 24 years old. Actually, my team found an old YouTube video the other day. I was 24, 25, and I'm like, man, I still had hair. It was crazy. It was like it's a blurry video because it was shot with like a Sony Handycam, which is like 270 megapixels or something. It's like all blurry. And so I used to do a lot of one-on-one coaching, but it just wasn't scalable for me. And so I make content. Most of my content I give away is free. And so for me, it's Coach Carroll is my personal brand, right? That's my persona. I'm massively bullish on people having a personal brand, especially if like you're an employee. Like, if you're a salesperson that works for like a car dealership, if you can brand yourself, dude, you're no longer beholden to your dealership. And you could potentially have, say you're in Illinois, you could have a dealership in Texas find you online and be like, dude, we need that sales guy. He's good. Like, we need to recruit him over to us, right? Your personal brand is super important. And in a world where I think in 24 months, you're not going to be able to tell what's real and what's fake on social media. I think being a true human being that has a personal brand that connects with other humans is going to be something of a superpower. And so, yeah, the Coach Carroll brand, man, I'm just out here, like I said, trying to weaponize entrepreneurs and their teams. And I love coaching. I really do. It's just, unfortunately, it's just not scalable. And so, like, these are the things that you learn as you become more successful, is like, to get to 1 million, you got to do like, say yes to everything and just take it all on, right? To scale past that, it's really starts to become more about what you start saying no to versus what you start saying yes to, and putting those guardrails up, which, as a, an entrepreneur with ADHD, man, guardrails are not the easiest thing in the world for me. And luckily, I've got a really good team around me that helps kind of keep me in check with that. But I think for me, it's like, ultimately, once you can take care of yourself, once you got your own oxygen mask on, like, then you're supposed to help the other people around you. I think that's what we're all here for.
Yeah, I love that. You can't help people drink from an empty well, as they say. You have to get yourself there first and help as many as you can.
Yeah.
I'm right with you. I remember back to the hair years as well. The good old. uh, so here's the thing: you're in a coffee shop in the morning. I don't know what your normal tipple is. Do you go for a cappuccino, a green tea? What would you have if you have it?
I'm a black coffee with a little bit of room for cream and sugar.
Ah, good stuff. Of course you are, Kentucky. Yeah. So you're in a queue, you're in your coffee shop in the morning to get your coffee, cream, and sugar. Right in front of you in the queue is a young person, and it's their very first day in a sales job. They're getting their coffee before they get to the office for the first time ever in a sales job. And you only have the time it takes that barista to make their coffee 65 seconds to impart the best piece of wisdom to them that you could for being a salesperson. We appreciate they've not asked for your advice, but you're going to give it them anyway. What would you say to them?
Cool. We'll role play here because I think that's the best thing you can do itself. So, Chris, it's your first day. You a little nervous, man?
Shitting myself, mate. Yeah.
I love it, man. Hey, if I can give you one word of advice, walk in there with your chin high and your chest out, like you're the baddest motherfucker that's ever hit that sales floor, because nobody knows any different. It's their first time meeting you. You never get a second chance to make a distinct, positive first impression. And I don't care if you don't close a single deal or talk to a single person throughout the day, you have the highest level of morale, the highest spirit out of anybody on that sales floor. Somebody closes a deal, you're the first one to run it over and gives them a high five. Your manager comes in, you're ready to rock and roll, you're super coachable. Don't let the day beat you because you have a bad mental attitude. If you can get through the days with a positive mental attitude, the results will take care of themselves. That's why you should always focus on your activity, not your outcome. You got this, man.
I feel all pumped up now. I'm going to go round high fiving everybody.
Well, that's what I'm supposed to do, baby. I'm Coach Carroll. Hustle, it's worth it.
To be honest, two things I want to pull out of that, which I absolutely love, is some people confuse chin up, chest out, I'm a bad motherfucker, with ego, and you've got to be arrogant. But you were saying you see somebody else do well, you go over and you congratulate them. Your manager comes over, you're really coachable. These are the things that actually take confidence. Anyone can tell you how brilliant they are, can't they? But to have the confidence to go and say, somebody else is brilliant, and yet I do need a bit of help. Can you coach me on this? That takes real confidence, which involves sticking your chest out and putting your chin up. So I love that. Fabulous.
Yeah, man. You got it.
Listen, I've loved chatting, and I think one of the things I'd like to do, if we can, is maybe get you on to discuss the book again at a later date in a little bit more detail. Before we do let you go, though, if people want to find you, do you want to share best place for them to find you, talk about the podcast and stuff?
Yeah. CoachCarroll.com. CARROLL. You guys can link it up in the show notes, but the link to the podcast is there. The link to my first book, which is called Phenomenal Phone Calls. It's my 40-page gritty guide to closing big money deals over the phone. To this day, the three biggest deals I've ever closed started from a cold call. And so I'm super bullish on cold calls. I love them. I think that when you're broke, you got more time than you got money. And so you can't advertise, you can't market. The only thing you can do is pick up the phone and trade your time for dollars and try to find those big whales that are out there. And then, we've got a link on the website, but if you want to go to hunterheadgame.com, what's really cool, man, this book is about 10 years worth of manuscript. So it's 250 pages. It was a 500-page manuscript, and we used Claude and ChatGPT to do the editing. And so we gave it really strict requirements that it had to take at least 80% of its sources from my manuscript. So only 20% was it able to get creative, weave chapters together, make transitions flow more easily. And what came out of this is like insane. I'm super, super proud of it. And I'll tell you guys that the reason why I did use AI, and I'm not afraid to say that because a lot of people are putting books out right now, they're using AI and they're not telling anybody, is because I think AI is the new weapon. And so back in the day, they hunted with spears and then a gun came along. And guess what? It was way easier to hunt with and far more deadly. I think as tools change, as a salesperson, you have to change your weaponry. And so I think AI is the newest weapon for salespeople. And so I wanted to exemplify that in this book. It's really, really neat. It's also got a bit of a my grandma taught me poetry. I write about this in the book, but at the beginning of each chapter, it has sort of like a poetic opener. And I want to share just a quick bit, if I could, with you guys from this. Is that all right if I share that with the audience?
Yeah, please do.
So it's really cool because it's got this amazing, like, old pen art drawing at the beginning of each chapter. But this is the Hunter's Utopia, and it's the prologue. And so it was. There were those who wandered, seeking yet never finding. They were fed, yet always hungry. They toiled, yet never conquered. Their hands grasped, but their hearts were empty, for they knew not the way of the hunter. But among them rose a different kind, one whose eyes saw beyond the horizon, whose hunger was not for survival alone, but for dominion. This one did not wait for the harvest. He pursued the kill. He did not ask for permission. He carved his own path through the wilderness of mediocrity. To the lost, this book is a riddle. To the weak, it is a burden. To the meek, it is a storm. But to the hunter, it is a map, a weapon, a prophecy. If you stand at the threshold of greatness, uncertain of your place, let this be the fire that awakens you. If you've tasted success, yet still crave more, let this be the blade that sharpens your edge. That's
I love that
red game, fellas.
And I do not think we should have anything more than that other than say, DJ, thanks so much for your time. Listeners, if you want to find out some more about DJ, he shared all his details and we'll share them in the crib notes.
Appreciate you guys for having me on, man. Hustle, it's worth it.